I'm going to be totally honest, I did not watch anything that happened in Washington, D.C. yesterday on America's 250th birthday, July 4th. I spent the morning hanging out with my family, and then I spent the afternoon and much of the evening hanging out with friends, including some good friends that I have not seen in several years. And then I came home, had a quiet evening, went to bed early, 8:15, got woken up by fireworks around 10, distressed dogs, got everybody settled, went back to sleep. Didn't tune into anything, didn't read any news stories, didn't watch any footage of the decrepit Cheeto giving his whatever rant. I assume he, is still kicking despite saying he was going to speak for a long time in 107-degree heat, and we were all really hopeful that that might, facilitate a really good birthday present for all of us. I guess it didn't, because I was reading the news this morning and I didn't hear anything to that effect. I did watch a short clip today of something that he said in his speech yesterday.
America will never be a communist country. Won't happen. Communism is a loser, and it always will be. The communist system is the opposite of the American system, and the communist system has never worked. Our warriors did not fight communism on battlefields across the world, only to have that menace rear its ugly head right back here in America. We're not going to let it happen. We like to stop a threat like that immediately and before it begins. It's like a cancer. You got to cut it out. You got to cut it out fast.
So Donald Trump here is referencing Democratic socialist candidates running on the Democratic ticket in primaries across the country and winning, right? In Colorado, in New York. And there are plenty of Democratic socialist candidates who are getting elected. Katie Wilson, mayor of Seattle, Zoran Mamdani, mayor of New York City. I think there's at least 4 members of Portland City Council who are DSA. I always ask Republicans when they say something about socialists or communists to define either of those terms. We know that they are used as boogeyman terms. They're meant to scare everybody. Without conservatives having a good understanding of what either of those terms mean, and they get conflated frequently. There are no communists running for any major office in the United States. At least I couldn't find any. There are no communists winning Democratic primaries across the country. This is just such an obviously pathetic attempt from Donald Trump to scare his base, because they're all still living in the 1950s Red Scare, I guess. He's trying to do a McCarthy on them. And I don't know whether it will work or not. But when I get Republicans who drop that term, communism or socialism, I always ask them to define it, because it shuts down the conversation, because they don't even know what these terms mean. They've just been raised to be afraid of either of these two terms, which again, they conflate frequently. The fact that Donald Trump is bringing in the big C word says to me he is scared shitless. Now we know that Democratic establishment politicians, corporate media, Republicans, Donald Trump, MAGA, Project, all of everybody, right? Everybody who profits from the current system is really, really scared of reform. The billionaires and the foreign governments who run our politicians in both parties are really, really scared of candidates being elected who work for the people and who want reforms and want to hand control of the government back into the arms of the American people and out of the clutches of the super rich. So of course Donald Trump is going to say shit like this to get his base to panic, because he is panicking, because the Republican establishment is panicking. Now the Democratic establishment is panicking as well, right? That's why you saw Tom Suozzi and unfortunately Janelle Bynum here in Oregon, and I think like 13 other members of the Democratic establishment say that they are pro-capitalism. They put out their big pro-capitalism letter. I don't understand who advised any of them to do that other than maybe AIPAC. It was really fucking tone deaf, and it says to me that there are still members of the Democratic establishment who think that they're going to stop all of us from finally getting representation in government. They're going to stop this Tea Party style takeover of the Democratic Party. And I understand that it feels like kind of like an assault on all sides against us, the people, because we have the Chuck Schumers who are fully in support of, I think it's Section 219 now, it got renamed from Section 224 of the National Defense Authorization Act, to merge and mesh the Israeli military with our military. There are Democrats who are in favor of that national security risk, right? It's all of the AIPAC Democrats. It's all of the Republicans. It's the president. It's the Christo-fascists on SCOTUS. It's the billionaires. Like, it just feels like it's all of these forces that are trying to suppress the will of the people, but too fucking bad, because there's 340 million of us, and there's no way that they can stand against us if we decide that we are going to get representation. If we have folks who are willing to be public servants and partner with us, the people, we can get all of the reforms that we want and need. There's no reason that we can't have the future that we all deserve. And the establishment all knows that, and they're shitting a brick. They are having a really, really hard time right now. And so that's why you hear Donald Trump repeatedly trying to stoke political violence. He is trying to stoke political violence against Democratic Socialist candidates. Let's be really clear about that. He had his Truth Social post several days ago. I had to go look it up. He called them hardcore godless communists and said that they were a threat. They would lead to societal collapse, right? He's trying to stoke political violence from the right against Democratic Socialist candidates, against real reforms, against the American people, creating a party that actually can win against MAGA, because the Democratic establishment can't win. They've been real big fucking losers this whole time. We've watched this steady building of MAGA. We watched Donald Trump be a faux populist who has hoodwinked millions and millions of Americans, and the Democratic elites have done nothing to build trust and loyalty. It is progressive Democrats. Functionally, I think there's two parties within the Democratic Party. And as I've said for a long time, we can either try and push the Democratic Party very strongly to the left, or we could try and constitute a viable third party on a national level. But that second task is a much bigger lift. It takes far longer. And it seems like the DSA has, and also the WFP as well, Working Families Party, have come to understand that they could just do a Tea Party style takeover, that parties evolve. Parties go through significant turnover, right? It's like a turnover in the lake, right? You get this big surge of energy from the people, and you can just vote all these fuckers out. That's why I've said before, like, I understood we had to vote for Kamala Harris because we didn't have a primary, because our choice was a literal fascist or Kamala Harris, right? And that made perfect sense to me. And that if we wanted to get real change, that wasn't the time to do it. That was the time to stave off fascism. And we failed. The American people failed at that. And now we're at a moment where we have a chance to get real serious reforms. We have to get involved in the primaries. And we're seeing voters, especially young voters, eagerly jump in and get involved in the primaries, especially in safe blue districts. That is where you push the party left, way left. And then you can get enough of those folks elected that you have a different leadership structure. They can vote in a different leadership structure that's not fucking Chuck Schumer. I still think it's worth calling your senators every week and demand that Chuck Schumer be removed from leadership, because it's only your Democratic senators who can do that. It doesn't happen through us voting. It happens through senators deciding that they need to elect new leadership. They need to have a vote of essentially no confidence and a vote for new leadership. So if you don't want Chuck Schumer in charge, you have to pressure your senators, and we have not had a comprehensive campaign to do that. But now maybe we could. Maybe the political winds are shifting enough that our Democratic elected officials who want to be more progressive, who want different leadership, who understand how the party has become a party of perpetual losers, a stifled party because they've been bought and paid for by corporations and AIPAC, maybe those folks now will have the political capital from us, because remember, power comes from us, political capital comes from us, that they can take those bigger risks. They can do those big moves that we've needed them to do. But Donald Trump is really, really scared of these changes. He's scared of this building momentum. He's scared of this energy. And so is the Democratic establishment. I think that's good. I think it's good. If they are scared of us, it's because we have power and we can get change, right? To hear Mike Johnson say shit like this.
It is a dangerous thing. This is not a joke. We're in a fight right now to save the republic. And every American needs to take this seriously. You need to wake up. This upcoming midterm election is not the midterm elections of years ago. This is going to decide the direction of the country. Are we going to maintain our status as a constitutional republic on our 250th anniversary? Are we going to make a new choice and go down some road towards a communist utopia? That's the choice right now.
Yeah, it's just like Steve Bannon said, if they lose in the midterms, it's all over for them. They are scared of not just losing their grasp on power. They're scared of investigations and prosecutions. The political will for all of that has to come from us, the people. Change only happens because we make it. We're never going to have some elected official be our savior. Unfortunately, Zoran Mamdani is not our savior. He's a public servant for the people of New York. It's us, we the people, who have to save ourselves. And I think we're seeing a movement in that direction. We are seeing us in the process of saving ourselves. And that terrifies a fascist, because he cannot hold on to power if the people come together and we decide that we want something different. And that's what we've decided. So their days are numbered. His days are fucking numbered, right? All of the Republicans, all of the establishment Democrats. It's not communism they're afraid of, it's the American people.